Hey everybody, welcome back. Sorry for such a gap between videos, but as many of you know, if you follow me on Twitter, I've been attending DEFCON for the past 4 or 5 days, and then of course recovering now when I got home. And this is just going to be a short video about some of the stuff that I learned while I was there. I tried to talk to as many content creators, bug bounty hunters on every kind of platform that do every different kind of vulnerability type and all that kind of stuff as I could, and really get the networking aspect of the convention. And I just want to come back and make a video about a few of the redeeming things or a few of the repetitive things that I've heard from other people while I was at the convention that I think would be kind of interesting to put my own spin on and kind of repeat back for everyone who maybe wasn't there or was doing something else, whatever it may be. First things first, everyone I met was super nice. It's not a tip or a trick or anything like that. But just something as far as the bug bounty community and the hacking community is concerned, everyone I spoke to was super nice. Some people were busy, some people had places to be, and they were still super welcoming, super nice, very willing to talk. It was such a cool experience to meet a bunch of people in person and talk about some of these things and get some of these opinions from them. And it was just super great. I didn't have a single bad experience or anything like that. Everyone was super great. So the first thing I think that's maybe obvious, but I just thought I would reiterate so you can stop watching the video if you want to, is there is no secret sauce. There's no secret technique, secret payload, cross-site scripting string, SQL injection string that just roots 80% of boxes and you don't have to worry about it, and that's what's getting everyone ahead. None of these are those things. And I would hope everyone kind of knew that, but just in case, I'm going to throw that out there. There's really no secret sauce, and you've probably heard some of these things before, but it was just stuff that was really repetitive with everyone that I talked with. So the first one of those things was I actually did have quite a few people tell me that the way they did it or the way they would recommend doing it is to actually find your perfect vulnerability for hunting, which means find one vulnerability you want to focus on, which I know a few other people have said, but then also on top of that is to find your right target to hack on. So what I mean by that is, again, like if you really are like, oh, I'm learning API hacking and I want to learn access control vulnerabilities on APIs, like that is a super niche thing, and that's actually what a lot of people recommended. Instead of what you sometimes hear, which is go wide, learn everything, look for everything, I heard quite a few people say, find what targets you like hacking on, even what kind of websites you like hacking on. I mean, if e-commerce is your thing, go for it. If social stuff is your thing, go for it. APIs are your thing, go for it. If it's hardware or IoT, go for it, like whatever it may be. But pick your ideal target as well, and then maybe one of the vulnerabilities that go with that target or that's common on that type of targets, focus on that one and just master it. I mean, if you've ever looked up like the 10,000 rule or like stuff like that, repetitions, force a habit, stuff like that, not only will you get better at finding it, but you'll get quicker at finding it, more efficient at finding it. You'll find it in more places. You'll learn more ways to find it faster, etc., etc. Especially on that one target. So, for instance, again, using the example of access control on APIs, if you really want to learn broken access control on specifically API targets, then as you keep hunting with that, I mean, it would only make sense that you get better, faster, more efficient, etc. Where now anytime you see a target with an API, you know that's a good target for you to hunt on, which answers a lot of beginners' questions as well, of like, oh, what target do I hunt on? What program do I hack on? Well, now you know, like, okay, I've only been hacking on APIs and I've only been looking for broken access control. So I only care about targets that I can find APIs on. And that makes it a lot easier for you to go through this huge list of targets that are out there now and this huge list of programs and really have a small piecemeal task that you can go after and hammer at and really improve at and find success. And along with that, on the same note, similar to what I mentioned, is the hunting with a purpose thing came up almost every time, right? Going into a target, scanning subdomains, putting stuff through burp, like that's all great. Everyone does it, spider the website, whatever it may be. But then people just start doing random stuff. They just start looking at things, putting XSS strings in something, or like randomly putting single quotes in something, or whatever it may be. And they don't really know what they're looking for, and they don't really know what they're hacking, and it kind of just gets screwed up, and you're looking for everything all at once, and it's kind of all very high level stuff instead of picking one thing at a time and drilling down, picking the next thing, drilling down, right? So if even once you get to the point where you're hunting more than one vulnerability, like the first thing I mentioned, if you're going to look for 3, 4, 5, that's fine if you get good at 3, 4, 5, but do one at a time. So if you're going to look for broken access control, CSRF, and cross-site scripting, that's great, but pick one, start with it, look through the whole web application or the whole target as best as you can for just that thing. Then go back and look for just CSRF, and then just cross-site scripting, and then just open redirects, or whatever it may be, right? So you have one thing on your mind that you're searching the whole application for. So every time you hit a parameter, every time you hit functionality, the only thing in your head is, can I get it to do this? And then you go back and it's the same thing. Can I get this to do this one vulnerability? No? Okay, moving on, right? You keep a note of it. If it looks like, oh, this might be good for a different vulnerability, I'm going to go after it. Like, sure, take a note of it, right? But like, don't go through the whole thing, check off one box at a time. Yes, I hunted for this. Done. Next thing. Done. Right? It makes you much more efficient, and it makes you much more in-depth with hunting certain things. The other thing that comes with mastering vulnerabilities by hunting one at a time and then hunting with a purpose is that you start to think outside of the box, right? You start chaining things. That's one of the also common themes that came out of some of the live hacking events that I talked to people about before DEFCON, as well as some talks I had at DEFCON, was a lot of top-end hackers now really like chaining things to really get the criticality up, and they'll save open redirects for SSRF, and they'll save, cross-site scriptings for CSRFs and stuff like that. And all that kind of stuff comes with the first two tips, but it also comes with actually being able to take that and think outside the box, right? So if you are going to hunt for open redirects, right? Like, you could report it, and you might get paid and whatever, but maybe you just take notes of them and you go through the whole application like we talked about, and you hunt for just open redirect, right? And maybe you find one, right? So you take a note of it, great. And now you've hunted for open redirects, you have one. But you now know, because you've mastered a few vulnerabilities using the first couple tips, that open redirects can be used to chain into SSRF. So now maybe you take that open redirect and the rest of the application and search for SSRFs, right? So you now have an attack chain of like, okay, I'm looking for open redirects, and then after I find one, hopefully, this is what I want to chain it into. This is what I'm good at chaining it into, right? That is how you slowly develop the skills to really pop the big bounty bugs, and the bugs that are still going to be out there that definitely aren't being found by automated scanners and stuff like that. Because, I mean, those big attack chains are obviously what the automated scanners are missing. The scanners are putting the script tags and the parameters, and like every once in a while you might pop a blind XSS by shooting your payload everywhere, but you're going to have much more luck trying to get these more complex bugs and working on going in depth and mastering a bug, and then thinking outside the box with what I have, what can I do with it? Because that's the type of stuff that automated scanners miss. And if you need proof, go look at any of the top hackers on Twitter that attended the hacking event, and you'll learn there was millions of dollars paid out in the course of a week and a half, thousands of reports filed against huge companies, by the way, with huge security posture, and they still had all these reports and all these bounties paid out in just 1 week. So it shows that the bugs are still out there. That's really all I have this time, guys. And if you can't tell, my cat is yelling at me to cut it short. I just want to put a short video out there that I'm still alive. Had to go to DEF CON, so the videos were a little stalled, but they're going to come back. Also, I am going to start Twitch streaming. That will probably be more coding, because I do some automation stuff myself, so I'll probably just like stream some of that so people can talk about that, because I've gotten some comments, and I think it might be easier to stream some of that and make it a conversation rather than do a video on it. So I'll probably start Twitch streaming more as well. So tune into that, follow me on there. That'll be linked in the description. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace.